Hello party people, welcome back to my channel. If you like what I have to say in this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you hate what I have to say, go ahead and drop a dislike. Please take it out on me. The world doesn't need any more negativity. I'll take it. I got you. So basically, this video is going to be about my tips of things that I have in the past couple years done in order to make my life better in the span of a year. After my divorce, I was going through a really hard time. And one of the biggest things that I did was I read the book Atomic Habits. And in the book Atomic Habits, James Clear, the author, writes about the importance about getting 1% better in every aspect of your life every day. So obviously, it's not going to be perfect. You're not always going to get better every day. But if you make small incremental changes in the direction that you want to head, you will be better now, in 1 year than you were now. So in the year 2026, as it begins on January 1st of 2026, you will be a better human being, a happier human being, and a person who has achieved great things if you follow the rule. What is it? The law of marginal gains? The aggregation of marginal gains, I think is what it's called. Always get 1% every day, better every day if you can. If you're religious, read one more Bible verse than you did. Say one more prayer. If you're an athlete, you got to get 1% better every day. You gotta take 1% more shots every single day in your practices. And if you continue to take 1% more shots, you're gonna get better by the end of the year. Get 1% better. So that's one thing that I really did. So for example, I purchased a lot of things. I had somewhat of a shopping addiction, and that was really bad. That was a coping mechanism that I had. But even though it was a coping mechanism, I kind of used it for good because I got, my style. I mean, I'm dressed raggedy right now, but my style increased in that year by 1%. I feel like I looked better than I ever did. I started dressing the way that made me happy and not just the way that, whatever's in the closet. I got to build a style. I got to build a swagger, at least by my own standard. Even right now, I feel fine. I feel like I look good. So it doesn't matter what other people think. Get 1% better. If you are, I got in the gym, my home gym, because I didn't like going to the gym. So I figured out that didn't work for me. So I bought gym equipment, and I got 1% better every single day. Next thing, focus on only what you can control. This is a terribly hard thing to do. Accepting that not everything is in our control is a hard lesson for us to learn. Only the most successful people in the world have truly mastered this, because once you learn this, you will be successful in almost every area of your life. If you're religious, you'll give everything to God because you know that it is out of your hands. If you are in a relationship, you'll stop trying to control your partner. You'll realize that they have their own individuality, and instead of trying to control people, you'll learn how to influence them. Or you'll realize that maybe they're not the right partner at all and that you need to leave the relationship because you can't control people. Once you've learned this skill, once you've learned in parenting, you'll realize that your kid is just a kid and you can't always control what they do, no matter how bad you want to. I want to control my son, but I can't. And maybe that's a good thing. It probably is a good thing because he has agency on this planet. Giving up control, yielding control to someone else, yielding it to a higher power, or just saying that I can't control it. Whether there's a higher power or not, I just can't control it. This isn't in my control. That will allow you a level of peace that you may not have otherwise. The next thing is get organized, get clean. I have ADHD. It's pretty bad. I have OCD, also pretty bad. And after uncovering these diagnoses, I realized that I needed to get clean, and I needed to make my environment. This also came from the book Atomic Habits. Is I knew that my environment and the way that I designed it was going to make all the difference. I am more productive now, more tech smart now, more productive, more focused, more at peace now, just simply by doing the little things, the 1% improvements that made my life better. If the dishes are in the sink, you wash the dishes. That may not be everything, but if you wash your dishes, if you declutter your email, if you delete old profiles, if you if you move, you sort the old papers that you have just sitting on your desk, if you do what Jordan Peterson says, and maybe you leave the vacuum in the middle of your freaking doorway for a week, and you walk over it, and you need to set a smaller goal. Whatever your goal is, do it, and do it consistently, even if it's very small incremental 1% progresses, because we always try to get those home runs, but let's get base hits. Get cleaned and organized, and design your environment so that it's easy to succeed. Because if you have junk all over your floor, I doubt you're going to be focused on your business. If you have pizza boxes sitting there on the table where you're trying to put your laptop to work, right now, my table, it's clean enough that I feel good. Everything is set up for me to succeed right here on this table. The apartment, the way I've designed it, it's where I feel comfortable. If you design your environment to be, and it's harder, maybe you live with people and they're messy, and I get that. Maybe it's time to move if you have that opportunity. And if it's not something that you're able to do, maybe it's your wife, she has ADHD, I don't know. You're not going to leave her just because she's messy, but, try to take control of what you can control. Because it's not just about saying, I can't control this, like I spoke about in a minute ago, and just yielding control to other people. Sometimes you got to take control when you can. Sometimes you got to be the man. You got to take control. You got to do, if you can control, waking up a little bit earlier and cleaning up a little bit, if you can control packing lunch the day ahead, if you can control putting a whiteboard on your wall so that you can stay organized, if you can control making a Google Doc with all of your business ideas in it so that they don't get lost and that you can revisit them, if you can get a calendar. I'm very bad with calendars, but if you could get a calendar set up, that'd be an excellent way of improving your life. And the very last thing that I would say is choosing a virtue and practicing it, and choosing the type of person that you want to become and modeling that behavior. I love virtues. I think of them as like Christ-like virtues, but you could think of them as just being a good person. And those virtues, they have names. There's charity and love, hope, humility, chastity, there's integrity, there's faith, there's being charitable. I think I already said charity, but if you can pick one of those virtues that you can focus on, you're going to be very happy by the end of the year, because you're going to be focused on something positive. For example, if your goal is to be charitable in the year 2025, donating money if you have extra money, donating time if you have extra time, getting out and serving your community, getting out and going and visiting the old folks home and making friendships with those people who don't have anyone, or babysitting your sister's kids so that she can go on a date, whatever service, people being actively involved in service. Or if your virtue is gratitude, and in this 2025 year, you want to be a man of great gratitude. I've had a gratitude journal, and I can tell you it is nice when you write down 5 things or even 2 things, whatever you can do. 1% better, right? Base hits, not home runs. But if you can make 1 notebook in a year so that when Thanksgiving comes up and everyone's talking about their one time a year being grateful, but you've been grateful the whole year, that's something to be proud of. It's not something to be arrogant about and say, look what I did all year. But in your head, you're like, look what I did all year. I was a person who exemplified gratitude. I was grateful for the country that I live in. I was grateful for the opportunities that I had. Then you become the gracious guy, the guy with great gratitude, or the guy who commits an act of service, the person who commits an act of service. What is the word? Serviceable? I don't know what the word would be. Generous, or whatever I'm trying to say. Ultimately, you can make improvements in the year 2025. And it's going to be, if you make it simple, if you break it down to just a few things that you have to focus on, not 10. This is 4. I gave you 4. And in the year 2025, maybe I'll just go do the same 4 that I did last year. Sometimes you just got to repeat success. If you're succeeding in something, you got to go repeat it. And that's enough. Or other times you got to make a new game plan because what you're doing isn't working. So be the CEO of your own life. Decide what you want. Decide how you can influence others. Focus on getting 1% better every day. Get organized and clean. You have to do that, especially if you have ADHD. And choose your virtue and practice and become it. Become the man you admire and give that man to the world, Wes Watson, whether you like him or not. So if you got any value out of this video, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you think that, you know, it's worth it. If you hate the video, like I said in the beginning, go ahead and give it a dislike. I don't really care, but I would like you to like it.